So welcome back to my channel. This is Gamer Dom, and we talked about it in the rambles, but the Pudel is available now. It's not the little hairy dog. This is the Polish Tier 6 Premium Medium Tank. Well, I say Polish. It's coloured Polish, but it's actually a German tank. This is why this is interesting. Is it's the first Polish tank in the game, and with it comes Polish crews, Polish voices, Polish special foodstuffs. Although they're not committing to the tech tree yet, but it seems incredulous to me that, given the fact that there is a very, very big Polish user base of the game, and they're not going to spend all this money on or time building out things like crews and everything else, if they're not planning to bring in a tech tree at some point. It's just we don't know when. My guess would be towards the back end of this year. It's generally policy of Wargaming to bring in a tier 6 premium medium tank of a new, or premium tank of the new line that they're going to be bringing in, so you get a chance to build up your crews in advance. But it's unusual that they haven't committed to when this is going to arrive, so we shall see. But the packages are in the shop as of Wednesday morning. So the basic package with just the tank and the 50% crew and a garage slot, £13.59, which is fairly in line with most tier 6 medium tanks. There is also an ultimate package. I always love it when they say minus 28%. How can it be? Anyway, £22.35p, or £22.35p would have been £31.15 apparently. Although you can't buy half this stuff separately, so anyway, whatever. For that you get the Pudel, you get the crew with brothers in arms already on them, so that's a big bonus. If you're looking to build out your Polish crew in advance of when they do actually bring in the tech tree, that's quite a good thing to do, but it is £22. You get the garage slots, you get 1,500 gold, 30 days of premium, 10 personal reserves of times 300% for crew experience for 2 hours, which is a bit spectacular, and 15 missions of times 5 XP per victory. I think we've talked about these before. The way they work is that once you have done your first victory in the tank, and this will only work on the Pudel and the Pudel crew itself, or the crew that are in the Pudel anyway. So once you've had your first victory of the day, so whether that's a times 2, times 3, times 4, times 5, whatever it may be for that day, every subsequent victory will earn you times 5 crew experience, which is spectacular, up to 15 times, basically the way it works. So if you play the Pudel, I don't know, 5 times on the first day, you get it, you win your first game, and then you win 2 of your next 4 games, you will use up 2 of these times 5 missions, and then it will happen again the next day. So then you have to do exactly the same the next time you play this tank. The first victory goes as normal, and then any subsequent victories in that tank get you times 5 XP per victory. Very, very good way of building up your crew very, very rapidly. The other option is the Supreme package, which is a whopping £35.76, which is basically the price of a tier 8 premium tank. So you get the tank, you get the 100% crew with brothers in arms again, and the way again brothers in arms works, so normally you have to, once you've got to 100% on your crew, you then have to train a crew skill, and each subsequent crew skill you gets harder to get. With the 100% crew with brothers in arms already built in, that brothers in arms, they get the benefit of brothers in arms, but in terms of earning experience for their next skill, it's as if they haven't got one. So it's a big advantage. You can build up a crew very rapidly on the basis of having brothers in arms, so good perk, definitely. You get the garage slot, you get 8,000 gold with this package, 25 of the personal reserves of plus 300% crew experience for 2 hours. That works on any tank that you're running for that 2 hours, and then you get 30 of those times 5 victories. So interesting bundles. I mean, if you need gold, then that might not be a bad option. I don't know how much is 8,000 gold. Let's have a quick look. 8,000 gold. £26. So yeah, 26 pounds. So if you needed gold, £26 off that £35 package means you're getting the Pudel for £9 as opposed to £13.59 there. If you're looking for, well, let's see, this one comes with the 30 days premium. Currently you can get a special there of £9 basically, but you get a LTP premium tier 3 Russian light tank for that, but £9 off that, off the total of £22 is £13. So you're not saving a huge amount on that one. So if you needed the gold, oh, mind you, getting 1,000 gold as well, aren't you, on that one? So yeah, you're probably saving, I don't know, a couple of pounds on that one if you went for the ultimate package. So not bad packages actually, but are they worth it? Let's go and see. So here we go in the garage. Here's the Pudel in its full glory. It does look pretty good, but it does look very familiar, doesn't it? Yeah, it's exactly what it is. It's a Panther. This is a Panther, decked out in Polish colours and with a different camo. There we go. It's quite a pretty looking tank, I have to say. So it's a Pudel. Pudel is a Panther, really, and the reason why it is a Panther is that this is modelled on, I think it was 2 Panther tanks that were captured by Polish freedom fighters in the Warsaw ghetto when there was an uprising in the Second World War against the German occupiers. And they captured, well, I think they knocked out several Panthers in the fighting, and then found that a couple of them were actually serviceable again. So they actually repaired them and sent them back out to fight against the Germans, and by all accounts were very successful, even though it was city fighting and everything else. But I guess the Germans weren't expecting to come up against their own armour. So anyway, that's where this tank comes from. It is basically a Panther at tier 6, bit like the, I guess it's a bit like the Tiger 1 and the Tiger 131. They've basically taken a stock Panther and made it a tier lower. But let's have a look at it in a little bit more detail. So it starts off with the, well, it only gets one gun because it's a premium tank. So 75mm long 71 gun, quite an effective gun this. 14.3 rounds per minute is very, very good indeed. Gives it a very impressive 2000 DPM, which is pretty good. Average penetration 150 with a standard round, which is okay at tier 6. Actually, that's pretty reasonable. 194 with a premium APCR round, which is very good indeed. 135 average damage. So it's a rapid firing, just like all the Panthers are. Low alpha, rapid firing, pretty accurate gun. Aim time is 2.3 and dispersion of 3.35, which is not outstanding, but it's not bad at all. Let's have a look at the other stats here. Oops. So yeah, DPM there is giving us 2057. I guess with this crew, remember this crew that I've got. So I bought the second package, it comes with Brothers in Arms already, so that gets me up 45. So it will be 2012 without that crew. Dispersion with that crew is 0.33, which is actually very good. Aim time goes down to 2.16. Gun depression of -8 is very nice indeed. Elevation is a useful 18 as well. Turret traverse of 32 degrees per second is very good. So it's just like the Panther. If you like the Panther, this is the same sort of gun. 840 hit points. Hull armor is 85, but it is pretty well sloped. So we'll have a look at that in Tanks GG in a minute. 50 on the side, 40 on the rear. Now 50 on the side is more than its equivalent at tier 6 in the German tech tree, which is the VK. So that's interesting. So the armor is actually one of its positives, this tank. It's actually surprisingly bouncy, certainly against its own tier and lower. And get up to tier 8, it's going to struggle a bit. Turret is 100, 45, 45. So not bad at all, and that gun mantle looks very, very pokey. However, it's got all that anti-mine stuff on the modelling. Look at that; it's quite a nice model, isn't it? The cupola's big, so we'll look at that. But I think that's pretty thin. Let's just hop over to Tanks GG and take a look. So here we are in Tanks GG. Let's have a look at the profile of the Pudel. So that 85mm of frontal plate armour straight on is giving us about 116 effective, 115, 116. The lower plate actually is surprisingly good, 98, 99, nearly 100 as you get further down, so actually more than I would have thought. Now if you angle it a bit, that's when it's going to become effective. So 120, 130 there. Lower plate is an auto ricochet actually, so that's, if you can angle it, that lower plate is not really penetrating. 160, but what does that do to our side armor? Yeah, it's too much of an angle there. So if we angle out there, that's giving us our 50mm side armor is giving us 110 basically, 120 on the front. So yeah, it's going to bounce lower tier ones reasonably easily, and even its own tier it's going to manage quite well. Round the turret, so it's pretty weak under and round the gun there. That's only 100mm and it's pretty flat. However, that gun mantle, it's got a 110mm of spaced armor, nothing behind it. However, okay, let's have a look at the cupola. That's not as weak as I expected either. That's 100mm, and because it's rounded, you're getting 104. If you go slightly off, 130. The very top, if you can hit that, that's pretty weak. But this middle bit is not as weak as you'd imagine. 100mm, same as the rest of the tank. So yeah, the armor profile's not bad. There we go. If we can get that sort of angling, that's an auto ricochet. But we're not getting much. So if we can get into a position where that's all we're showing, that's an auto ricochet because of the angling. So yeah, that's the profile. It's not spectacular, but it's only a tier 6. Remember, it's only a tier 6 medium, so it's not supposed to be brawling face to face against heavy tanks, for instance. But it's got a little bit of armor, and it could be quite effective. Okay, so mobility wise, 700 horsepower engine pushing around a 44-ton vehicle. It was an okay 15.8 power ratio, which is pretty good. Top speed at 55, so it's a reasonable medium. It's not super fast, but it's not slow either. 32 degrees per second traverse is also very useful. Concealment wise, it's a pretty big tank, so it's not really going to be hiding very well. 10.9% chance of concealment when stationary is not outstanding, so I wouldn't count on it at all. Spotting range, well, it's given me a +8, so 370 meters view range, which actually is pretty good indeed. And signal range nobody cares about, but is 741. So there you go, there's the Pudel. So let's compare the Pudel with a couple of other tanks, most of them in the tier. So we've got the VK3001D, the tier 6 German medium tank, the VK3002M, which is the one it most resembles. In fact, it's identical. The Cromwell B, which I think most people agree is the best tier 6 premium tank in the game at the moment. The Rudy, which I think is an outstanding tier 6 premium tank. And this, just for comparison, this is the tier 7 Panther, but stock, just to have a look at it. So right across the piece, you can see the Pudel, the VK, and the stock Panther are identical on firepower. So 130 average damage per shot, 135, which is identical to everything apart from the Rudy, which has 180. Penetration 150, which is identical to the two VKs. The VKs I've upgraded fully for this comparison. The Panther obviously is stock. So the stock gun on the Panther is identical. So they are absolutely identical. Rate of fire 14.9, which is identical right across all the other German tanks in this comparison. Cromwell has a faster rate of fire and the Rudy has a slower one. Reload time 4.03, again identical. Now I've got no equipment on any of these tanks, so just for the comparison purposes, Cromwell fires quicker, which is why its rate of fire is so much better. Or its reload time is quicker, which is why its rate of fire is so much better than everything else. Turret traverse, now this is where it starts to be a little bit different. So, well, the VK, the Panther and the Pudel are identical on turret traverse, 31.29 degrees per second. The VK3101D is quicker. All have -8 gun depression apart from the Rudy. Aiming time is identical on all tanks apart from the Rudy, which is actually better. That's surprising. Aim time generally isn't so good on the Russian tanks, so that's very interesting. Dispersion 0.34, which is identical apart from the Cromwell and the Rudy, which are slightly worse. So accuracy is identical across all those German tanks. DPM with the standard layout on the Panther is identical to the Pudel, the VKD, and the VKM. So that's pretty interesting, isn't it? But hit points wise, of course, the Tier 7 Panther has considerably more hit points, but also the Pudel has more than the Cromwell and the Rudy. 840 compared to 750 and 720, which is actually quite a bit. That surprises me how much that is. Also, their armour. The armour of the Pudel, 85, 50, 40, is the best of the bunch. Equal best anyway. It's and you can see the difference with the VK. Whoops, move. Get out. Give me that. There we go. So the difference with the VK 3002M, 10mm of side armour. So the Pudel has 10mm more, which actually is quite a lot, because the way the ×3 auto pen works, ×3 of 40 is 120, so 122mm. The Russian 122mm will automatically pen the side armour of a VK 3001 OT02M. However, with the Pudel having that 10 extra mil, 50 times 3 is 150, so it's only going to be 150mm or bigger that will automatically go through the side, which means you can side scrape in the Pudel, which you can't do in the VK, which is interesting. So again, the standard Panther at Tier 7 has identical armour, 85, 50, 40. So it's basically a stock Panther, as I said. Turret armour, again, identical between the VK-M and the Panther and the Pudel, 145, 45. Weight, the Pudel's slightly heavier than the VK-M, which is interesting, so that means it will be slightly slower, but it's identical to the Panther. They all have, well, actually the stock Panther only has 650 horsepower engine. All the VKs and the Pudel have 700, which gives them pretty much, well, in fact, look at that, the power ratio. So the Pudel, because it has that extra weight on board, an extra 2 tons, means it only has 15.8 acceleration, whereas the VKM has 16.6. But they're both quicker than the stock Panther, which is interesting. Top speed 55 is identical. The VKD is quicker, and the Cromwell B is quicker. The Rudy is about the same, 54. Traverse speed, again, identical to the stock Panther and identical to the VK. So you can see there's a pattern here, right? This tank is identical to a VK 3002M, apart from extra 10 mils of side armour and an extra a bit of extra weight, which means it's not as quick. Spotting range, I think they're all identical, 370 for the German tanks, which is better than the Cromwell and better than the Rudy. So that's your differences, which is fairly minimal. But it could make a big difference. As I say, that extra 10mm side armor. So basically, you're getting 10mm more side armor for losing a little bit of acceleration. That's kind of what you're getting compared to the VK. Plus, it's a Polish tank, and you can train up a Polish crew if and when we get a Polish line in the game. Let me equip it out, and we'll take it out for a couple of runs and see what we think about it. Okay, so we've kitted out the tank, put the command or the skills ready to go. I've put a gun rammer, I've put gun laying drive and vents on because I want to make this a bit of a sniper tank if I possibly can. That's got my aim time down to 1.92 and my dispersion to 0.32, which is pretty good, and DPM's up to 2,300, which is also very good. I haven't gone with any special consumables, just gone with the standard small repairs, small first aid and automatic fire extinguishers. I've taken 62 rounds of AP, 11 of APCR and 7 of HE. Carries a lot of rounds, so it shouldn't be a problem. One thing to notice, you can't change the camo on this tank. You get what you get with it. It's one of these ones where there is no camo available. There you go. So anyway, let's take it out. This will be my first time. Let's see what we can do with it. Alright, let's see what we can do with it. So I did just try and play a game, but with wonderful efficiency, my computer decided to hibernate just as it was loading in and crashed, so we lost. And I didn't do anything, so I'm not going to show you that game because it was pointless. It was Himmelsdorf. By the time I got into the game, I just got rushed by about 4 light tanks, and this thing hasn't really got the DPM to outshoot 4 light tanks. So let's try this one instead. So this time it's a tier 8 game, which is not brilliant, but Scorpion G's as well. Sheesh. I'm going to go up the top. See if we can do anything up there. It's a bit sluggish, this thing. Feels a little bit sluggish. It's been a while since I've driven my Panther, so I can't remember whether it's similar or not. But you can see that Cromwell scampering up ahead of us. But then the Cromwell is pretty nimble. That T-34-85 behind us is about the same speed, so I suppose we're not that slow. One of the Scorpion G's is spotted, that's good. We've got 800 more hit points than they do. That's pretty stupid. Cool, look at all the look at all the enemy tanks piling down the middle. If we can climb up here. No, we can't. Alright. Just haven't quite got enough grunt. Obviously I don't have any sixth sense, and I've just been smashed. Let's go. Stand here, we're just going to get hit. Don't believe it, been tracked again. Twice. The arse is going to get us now. So it feels a bit sluggish, this thing, if I'm honest. Their artillery's down, so that's something. Okay, shoot a dead tank done, why not? So it feels a bit sluggish. It's a big target, so the arty loved us there. But that's okay, we'll get used to it. We'll get used to it. So we've got 2 kills. What did that come out with? Oh, 3rd class mastery, okay. Where are we on the team? About mid-table. 668 damage, 2 kills, 589 base XP, 9 shots, hit with 7, penned with 6, took 6 hits, bounced 2, 26,000 credits after cost, 20, so very little cost, look at that, 22,000 profit on a nondescript game, and 2,000 XP with our ×2. So first impressions, the turret rotation is pretty slow. The gun handling is actually okay, and it's a bit sluggish. Doesn't have much grunt. Okay, so I can't say I am terribly impressed with this tank so far. It's sluggish. The armour isn't that brilliant. Turret traverse is very, very slow, and even though the accuracy is supposed to be pretty good, I don't seem to be able to hit diddly. All my shots seem to drop. And considering I've got a pretty good crew, I've also got vents and gun lane drive, I would have expected to have slightly better performance with the gun. I really would. I'm not expecting miracles, I'm just expecting reasonable accuracy. Jeez, now where do we go? Let's try and cut up this guy. Everything's standing still. It's a tier 8 game again. So I have so far played 4 games. One has been tier 6. Yeah, my first game was tier 6, but they were all tier 6, so it wasn't really like you were top tier, it was just... This is going to be suicide. I know it is. Doing more of a scouting job here, really. Seems like the best thing to do, really. Oh, this gun is horrible. Fully aimed shots missing. Better. Took a shot for the Panther though for my troubles. Got him. Change back out of premium. Ah, bugger. Sure. Wow. Is that my own comment that just hit me? Look at that, missed again. Go on, kill that panther for me, please. Thank you. Ah, he got me before I could fire through that gap. It took too long over it. Well. Yeah, it was our own comet hit me. It's gone blue. We shouldn't lose this one, should we? Oh yeah, look at him. It's gone blue. What a dickhead. So anyway, it looks like we've won the game, which is good. Makes a change. There they go. Last couple down. GG. Well, slightly better game out of it. Still concerned about its speed. And it's not as bouncy as I thought it was going to be absolutely honest. Got third class again out of it. 684 damage, not much damage. First one kill, 674 base XP. Fired 13 shots, hit with 6, only penned with 4. Took 8 shots, bounced 2 of them. Did 900 assistance, which is what made this game reasonably okay. 34,000 credits. Ammo costs, because I've had a couple of premiums, were a bit higher, so still made 19,000. So it looks like potentially a good credit generator. And one of my times 5s kicked in, so 5,000 XP. Okay, let's see what we can do. Assault game tier 8. Not been terribly impressed with this tank so far, but let's see whether we can do anything better with this game. We are bottom tier. 2 artillery. This is my problem with it, it's slow. I don't mind low alpha guns if they're a bit more nimble, and I thought the armour might make up for it, but the armour's not that great. Finally hitting something. the artillery's attention. Oh joy. Oh great, he's sitting behind me. I'm not pushing up against that bat chat. It's not a snapshotty gun, this one. Oof. Just moved at the right moment there. Oh, good grief. Both arties stunning me. We're going to move. Right, we're out of here. Blimey, that was a snapshot and it worked. Trying to use our view range a bit here. Get down into a low down position. Missed him. Damnation. One arty. Oh, missed him again. Finally got him. Jeez. I'm not finding this gun very, can't really snapshot very easily in it. Our artillery could hit him, thank you. more. Damnation. Good, he's going. Scorpion G behind us somewhere. Okay, he's going after our artillery. That's the result. Good, he's dead. It's been quite a good game in the end, but I got a feeling I would have been just as good in something else. Did I get spotted there? I have no idea. No idea. I'll have to see. Good job, finished. Wow. So pretty good result there, first class. Better than I thought actually. Demolition, fighter, duelist, fire for effect, and of course Spartan. Finished top of the team actually, 1300 damage, 4 kills, 1036 damage. 23 shots fired, hell of a lot of shots fired. Not as accurate as I really thought it was going to be. 12 hit, 9 penetrated for that 1300 damage. Took 5 hits in return, 2 of which bounced. 39,000 credits, 33 profits. So the profit to shot ratio is very, very good. And well, we got the ×5 thing, so that boosted our XP to 8,000, which is pretty monumental. So yeah. So thoughts on this tank? I don't really like it, is my honest opinion of it. It's sluggish. The armor isn't quite as good as I was expecting it to be. I was hoping it would be, to make up for that sluggishness. The turret rotation is very, very slow, and it ammo racks all the time. I've played 10 games now. I reckon half of those I've had an ammo rack hit in. So it's almost a case for taking out the vents and putting a wet ammo rack in this thing, I think. And also the gun is a bit depressingly poor. So yeah, I'm all in all a bit disappointed by it. I wouldn't recommend it unless you're particularly keen on having the Polish branch ready to go whenever it appears. But yeah, you know, if you're into Polish tanks, you want to have a Polish tank, you want to get your crew ready, then I guess we're kind of focused on having to take this one. But yeah, it's not a great tank. Sorry about that, guys. That's my honest opinion. Anyway, hopefully this was useful to you. If it was, give it a like and subscribe to the channel, please. And in the meantime, enjoy your games, have fun, try not to take them too seriously, because it is just a game. And I'll see you again soon. This is Gamer Dom, signing out.